Hi, this is Mark Rosen from WCCO TV, and it's my pleasure to introduce my good friend Ron Henderson, the Fitness King, presenting Motivation. One word to help change your life. Please welcome Ron Henderson.
Hi, I'm Ron Henderson, the Fitness King, and welcome to Motivation. On my show today, I am proud to say I have my friend Gary Hines, who is the music director and the producer of the 3-time Grammy Award-winning Sounds of Blackness. Welcome to the show, Gary.
Thank you, Ron.
How are you?
Oh, blessed through it all, my brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what, folks at home, the thing I love about this show is I get to just be me, which is what I do every day, by the way. You folks at home that know me know that. You know, Gary's a busy man, and it seems like most of the guests, Gary, that I actually have on this show are very busy. Mm-hmm. And so there's always a little hesitation, almost intimidation for me to reach out, because I know you're busy.
As are you.
I try to be. So let's first get into this, Gary. I have a moment, and I call it basically up close and personal. Mm-hmm. Who is Gary Hines, and what is there about Gary Hines that you would like the viewing audience to know that they don't know?
Okay. Well, Gary Hines, first and foremost, as you are, is a child of God. He's the youngest son of Doris and Edward Hines. I have 5 siblings, 3 boys, 3 girls, and I'm the baby boy. They never let me forget that, Ron.
Okay.
Always a baby boy. Born and raised in Yonkers, New York. So I'm a native New Yorker. Love Minnesota. I've been here for many, many years. But New York is still home. Because 12 years, the first 12 years of my life in New York, and 12 years in New York is like 25 years anywhere else. It's like a half-life, kind of thing. So native New Yorker, and now certainly a proud Minnesota resident, like I say, for many years.
Mm-hmm. Anything else about Gary? I mean, what are your hobbies, briefly? Because I want to get into the sounds of Blackness, but what are your hobbies? I mean, I know you work out. I know everybody knows Gary Hines works out. What are your hobbies, Gary?
Hobbies, avocations, certainly, as you say, working out and competing back in the day, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
And still work out every day. Worked out this morning, as you and I discussed off camera. I think a lot of people don't know that my first instrument, people know me from Sounds of Blackness and piano and conducting, and we thank you for that, and you and all of your viewers' support over the years. But my initial and original instrument is the drums, actually. So my brothers and I, back in New York, before we even moved to Minnesota, were in the Samuel H. Dow American Legion Drum Corps. Mm-hmm. So we came to the Twin Cities as drummers. And of course, we're in the Elks and the Catos and the Sabathanites, and still work with the Sabathanites Drum Corps. So shout out to Sabathanites. So I think that's one of the main things. It's so funny, speaking of drummers, one of your clients, the great Brother Stokely from Mint Condition, most of his fans around the world know him as a singer, but he is a world-class drummer. Master. I know you know that, but for all that. And Morris Day of the Time, everybody knows the Time. People know Morris as the lead singer of the Time. People don't know Morris is a master drummer. So anyway.
And I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, a lot of people don't know. Yeah, believe me, Morris can kill some drums.
Oh yeah. Cool. How long have you been involved in the music business, per se? I mean, I think you, if I recall, 1971 you took over as director?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you've been involved this whole time, just straight through with Sounds of Blackness?
Yes, this is, in fact, this, actually, this January marks our 45th anniversary of Sounds of Blackness.
Wow.
So began at my alma mater, McAllister College, right across the river in St. Paul. Mm-hmm. And the basis for Sounds of Blackness was the McAllister Black Choir, which was founded by Russell Knighton. Yep. Russell, a native of Beaumont, Texas, so shout out to Russell. He's kind of an emeritus member now. Okay. So yeah, since 1971, Ron, Sounds of Blackness.
So you were young. You just got out of school.
Oh, we're still young.
Yeah, I know we are still. Folks, and if you work out, you'll be able to say you're still young too.
That's right. That's
the key. But I mean, that in itself is very noble. I mean, to take over that position at such a young age.
Well, you know what, as I say, what had happened was, right, Sounds of Blackness, well, it wasn't Sounds of Blackness yet. The McAllister Black Choir was already very excellent back then. There was like 50, 60 voices under the direction, like we say, of Russell Knighton, and their accompanist at the time was Roland Wilson, who's a master musician. And Roland went to a school out of state, and or out of the metro, and they needed, you know, a director, musician kind of thing, and so I was asked to come on and was really honored to do that. And really the vision that God gave me for that already excellent group was to continue the tradition of people like Duke Ellington, Quincy Jones. Now, when we hear those names, we mainly think of jazz, and we should.
Yes, we do. Yes.
But both the late Duke and Quincy would always say, I do the music, or they do the music of our people. So jazz, blues, gospel. People don't know Duke Ellington did 4 sacred recordings,
Right.
And spirituals, gospel, and Quincy does all genres. So the music of the culture, and we wanted to continue that tradition. So the vision God gave us to do that was through the McAllister Black Choir, and we needed a name that would fit that, since we were going to be doing spirituals, hip hop, R&B, soul, jazz, gospel. And what better name than what all of those things are, which are the Sounds of Blackness.
Right. And now after all, what, how many years later? 3-time Grammy award-winning Gary Hines, Sounds of Blackness.
By the grace of God only, you know, and by the, like I say, the support of a lot of people like you, my brother, and your viewers. And you know, it's so funny you bring that up, because many times we're asked, when you guys were students back in McAllister, did you ever in your wildest dreams imagine that one day you'd be blessed to travel the world and win Grammys? And modestly and humbly, the answer is actually yes, because we would sit around after rehearsal and say, you know what? One day we're going to tour and we're going to go all over the world.
Amen.
And we're going to win Grammys. We believe that. I mean, in all humbleness kind of thing.
Oh, yes.
And you know, so I'm always careful with that answer, because we don't want to come off like we're saying, oh, we knew it all the time, because we surely didn't.
Sure.
But our students, our faith and our enthusiasm said that, you know what, one day we're going to be blessed to do this.
Oh, yeah. And I think, Gary, I think that you are confident of the gift that God had put inside you and everyone that was associated with the Sounds of Blackness.
That's it, preacher.
Yeah, because
Yes,
it takes
sir.
a village, so to speak, and you guys are the family.
Yes, sir.
See, together. So we know that, I mean, God, and that's huge. What else would you just say, was it just the sense of unity helped contribute to the success of you guys?
Well, definitely.
Especially early on.
Oh, certainly. Early on and right up through today. Certainly, my mother, Doris Hines, who we just lost a few months
Yep, I
ago,
remember. Yep.
and because she set the example, Doris Hines, you know, traveled the world. She went to Japan and Australia before we ever did years ago. She laid the template for Sounds of Blackness. We
Did
even
she sing?
yeah, she's a great jazz
Oh,
singer.
okay.
She
I
sang
know
with
that.
Duke Ellington, Sarah Vaughan,
Wow.
Nat
Wow.
King Cole, Ella
Wow.
Fitzgerald.
Wow.
Sarah Vaughan,
Wow.
Dinah Washington,
Wow. Wow.
you name it. She,
Wow.
yeah, all over across the country and all over the world. And she always encouraged us to do what we do. She was our biggest supporter, #1 fan at every show the Sounds of Blackness did, certainly locally. And musically as well, even growing up, again, going back to New York, hearing her rehearse around the house, we had a wide range, not only of the jazz classics, but different styles of music. And so that definitely influenced me, and that was passed on to Sounds of Blackness, and we were blessed to have her record on 3 of our records. Our first Christmas record with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, she recorded on that, and the arrangement, because her mother's side of the family is from Kingston, Jamaica.
Okay.
And so she gave us that Jamaican flavor of a classic for Christmas, Children Go. We recorded that with her. It's in our Christmas show, which just celebrated its 37th anniversary. And so we were blessed to have her on 3 of our recordings, have her as a special guest with us on our recording.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Gary, if you can do it, I'd love to have you come back on the show, maybe do a tribute to your mom. Actually play some of her old music and then some of the tunes she did with you guys. So I'm going to ask you right now publicly. See, I'm putting my, like to put my guests on the spot.
Not on the spot.
I'd love to have you come back and we can do that.
That is an honor, my brother.
And hopefully we can get it done in the next 3 months or less. Okay?
Absolutely. Sooner the better.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. You're a good man. You're a good man, Gary.
As are you, my brother.
Yeah, and you know, talk that you're not surprised at success, your faith in God and those things, and you obviously had good upbringing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I got to share this with you. In fact, I had a shout out to Gary on Facebook. I said, I've never heard anything negative about Gary Hines, ever, ever. I mean, people could probably say something negative about me when I was
Well,
growing up.
everybody, brother.
Yeah,
You know, they talk about
Okay,
Jesus,
okay.
so I'm, you know.
Oh yeah, you make mistakes, but I just got to say that I've watched you, and you're humble, your spirit, you're steadfast, you have integrity, and that's so important. And everybody's talking about, you know, especially as an African American, we need good role models out there that aren't just football players, that aren't just basketball players, that actually just people who are living life.
Everyday people, like
Everyday
Sly
people.
said. Yeah.
Everyday people. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you so
On that
much.
note, I'm going to take a short break for a public service announcement, but we'll be right back with motivation. You're sitting here with Ron Henderson, the Fitness King, and my guest, Gary Hines, the director and producer of the Sounds of Blackness. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Javon Bailey. I have a personal message for you. Never give up hope. Hope is something that is lost very easily and that you have to fight. You have to fight to get. And you have to have hope to overcome your dreams. So if you need somebody to stand beside you, if you need a friend for prayer, if you need somebody to just walk through life with you, I want you to go to our website, www.ladiesofloveministries.com, and go ahead and click on the prayer button and send us a message or give us a call. We would love to stand by your side because we know that that is something that a lot of people need, but not a lot of people have. I want to encourage you to stay motivated, never lose sight of your dreams, because there's always going to be something or someone in your way, someone who doesn't support you, someone who doesn't believe in you, but God does, and we will definitely stand by your side to help you achieve your goals in life. So stay happy, always smile, and remember to call us if you.
Welcome back to Motivation. You know, before we get into the rest of your story, which is, I mean, huge, okay? I want to thank my sponsors, American East Bloomington, for sponsoring Motivation, and also the sponsors of my workout show, that's right, Winning Workouts. If you just tuned in, I'm sitting here with the 3-time Grammy Award-winning director and producer of the Sounds of Blackness, Gary Hines. You can tell by his muscles, that is Gary Hines, folks. You know, I'm looking at him, I wonder, I was thinking maybe we should have arm wrestling contest, but you know what? I don't like losing at anything. I don't like losing at anything.
You'd win that, my brother.
I don't like losing at anything. Okay. You know, there are people everywhere, Gary, striving for success.
Mm-hmm.
What could you share that might help some of those people that are out there that are watching the show?
Well, Ron, I would share with them the principle of P's, okay? I'm going to give them some P words here. First of all is prayer, to have that spiritual center,
Yeah.
and to have that focus that it'll take to embark upon whatever your endeavor is. And then preparation. As an artist or whatever your discipline is, to hone and perfect your craft every day.
Right.
With my singers and musicians, we tell them not only to practice their repertoire every day, but scales and fundamentals and vocal technique and instrumental technique. So prayer and preparation, and then perspiration. You and I know about that. There's no fancy way to get this done. Nothing you can smoke or drink or drop. It takes sweat, it takes effort. And then perseverance is the other P. So many people come so close and would have achieved whatever it was they were trying to achieve and stopped just short had they persevered.
Yep.
So those are the things I would encourage to all of your viewers.
Sounds good. Have you ever had, in the years that you've been with the Sounds of Blackness, have you ever had one of those, what I call, I wish moments, where you sit back and say, I wish we would have done this, I wish, you know?
Yeah.
Have you had those kind of moments?
Oh, several, actually, all the
Sure,
time.
give an example. Is there something that maybe that you said, if we would have done that, then this would have happened?
You're right, right.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. There's so many things. I would say, and I don't know that there's an at or near top of the list, but certainly close to the top of the list would have to be, we had an opportunity, and we've had a few actually, to go to South Africa, one of the few places we have not yet been, and to perform for the late, great Nelson Mandela.
Okay, oh yeah.
And we had one prior engagement that had been previously contracted before then, and we we're trying to graciously get out of that date, telling people like, yes, we know we've committed to you, and you know our record, you know we don't back out of things, but this is Nelson Mandela, and we didn't press it hard because we didn't want to, offend the people that come. So I'd say that's got to be at or near the top of the list, wishing that we had pushed a little harder for that, to graciously bow out of that and reschedule so that we could have gone to be with Nelson Mandela in South Africa.
I'm sure. Any plans for the future to ever go to South Africa?
As a matter of fact, yes. We've been blessed to go to the continent, to the motherland. With Stevie Wonder, we went some years ago for the Pan-African festival known as Panafest in Accra, Ghana, and Cape Coast, and we had a wonderful time. But now it's time to go south, and then of course east and central. And so for South Africa, actually our management is speaking to a promoter right now about some festivals there. So we believe in that 2016 will finally be the year, Ron, that Sounds of Blackness gets to South Africa.
Wow, what language do they speak in that country?
Primarily Zulu, but there are, when we think of Africa, and I always encourage people to do this, because sometimes Africa is portrayed as a country.
Right.
Second largest continent. I mean, you could put North America in the African continent 3.5 times and still have room to do the funky chicken. I mean, it's huge, and a land of over 1,000 languages and over 2,000 dialects. So, and even right in that Africa, in that section of Africa, hundreds of dialects, but the dominant is Zulu.
So you're gonna work on folks. Are you gonna work on your Zulu?
Yes, sir. In fact, Sounds of Blackness, our repertoire, we have a number of songs in Zulu. And in fact, if you want to hear that, not too far from here, on February 13th, we'll be in concert at the Hopkins Fine Arts Center, Saturday, February 13th, 8 o'clock. And the first opening section of the concert will be all of our African language songs. So will it be sung in Yoruba? And Ikaro, and Swahili.
Kiswahili Jumbo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hotep.
I like that.
Yes, sir. And Zulu as well.
Zulu. See, Zulu I don't know. So give that date out again. I'm going to actually try to get through myself to see it, but give the date again.
Thank you. So we want to invite each and every one of you, Sounds of Blackness in concert at the wonderful Hopkins Fine Arts Center. That will be Saturday, February 13th, 8 o'clock. And I understand that it's nearing a sellout, but certainly there are still good seats available. So please reach out to Hopkins Fine Arts Center. Please stay in touch with Sounds of Blackness at soundsofblackness.org. And Sounds Blackness is our for Twitter and our Facebook fan page as well. And we will correspond with you. And when your viewers, Ron, hear back from us, it's not some intern or student or machine. It's actually us, probably me.
That's a good thing. That's a good
yes,
thing.
It is, direct. Yes, sir.
That's a good thing. So you got that coming up. What else is in the future for the Sounds of Blackness?
We are doing a few things, Ron. By God's grace always. We want all you listeners to know that we are releasing a brand new single February 16th. We'll do a world debut on KMOJ. We've already started to put the word out about it. It's a single, and it's called Royalty. And I was telling you about that off camera. Royalty is about self-image, promoting a positive self-image for our youth, because we know that's so important and really can help govern and change behavior and lifestyles and all that. And as I was telling you, Ron, earlier, the chorus says, we've got a message from above. You ain't no thug, you're royalty. You come from the royal blood flows through your veins. You're the descendants of kings and queens. So Royalty will be released a few days after the Hopkins concert, which is, that's February 13th. Royalty as a single will be released February 16th. It'll be available online, iTunes. We're just finishing up the video, which you were asking about.
I was just going to ask you about the video.
Yes, sir.
The video. Yeah.
We should have the video, I would say, by this time or so next week, and we'll certainly get you a copy. And also, of course, look for Royalty on YouTube.
Now, hopefully, maybe he'll let me, I'll throw it in as a public service announcement, you guys get a taste of it. So maybe give me like 10 seconds of it, just give him a little tease of that video, or the whole thing.
No, the whole thing,
That'd be great,
why
that'd be
not?
great,
Absolutely.
that'd be great, that'd be great. If you just tuned in, I'm Ron Henderson, the Fitness King, sitting here with my guest, Gary Hines, who is the director and the producer of the 3-time Grammy Award-winning Sounds of Blackness. Personally speaking, what's in store for you? Besides the Sounds of, what else are you working on? Just for yourself.
Actually, working on a few things. One of the things that Sounds of Blackness has been blessed to do over the years is to be a part of some film soundtracks.
Yep.
And so we're submitting some of our music to some upcoming releases and we can certainly keep you abreast of that.
That'd be good.
So yeah, film soundtracks would be the next major thing. And then of course we travel to back to New York, my hometown, original hometown, stomping ground. But we'll be in Brooklyn about this time next month, performing for their citywide African American History Month celebration.
Sounds good, definitely. Now, on another note, there's so much going on right now with Black Lives Matter, police brutality.
Right.
Briefly, what advice could you give, just say, even some of the young people that are watching all these things going down and thinking about being violent, those kind of things? Any advice you just care to just share?
Absolutely. This movement and Black Lives Matter really is the latest manifestation of the movement for justice and equality for African Americans, people of color. And it's always been about sincerity and integrity and dignity and respect. So with the intensity of the movement for Black Lives Matter, keep that dignity, keep that pride, keep that respect, even as we advance towards working for justice and working against police brutality. There's so much that can be done on the positive tip and get more done than on the negative.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting because when you hear cops talking, you hear, the public talking. I've been fortunate enough that I have a lot of friends who are police officers.
As do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know both sides of it, and
Right.
I understand that there are a lot of cops that are in that position that misuse their authority. I understand that and abuse it, but I also understand there's some very good cops that are out there that do care about it. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, because when somebody kicks in your door at 12 o'clock at night, who are you going to call?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not Ghostbusters, you call the
Right.
policeman.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
so-
I'm glad you mentioned that too, Ron, because we also want to let your viewers know that Black Lives Matter, we recorded the song with that title. In fact, the full title is Black Lives Matter, No Justice, No Peace. We want to encourage each and every one of you to go to YouTube, right after this broadcast and check out the video, Black Lives Matter, No Justice, No Peace, Sounds of Blackness. And that single is available on iTunes and Amazon and so forth, just as royalty will be in a few weeks.
How long is that song, by the way?
The Black Lives Matter song, it's about 4 minutes.
It's about 4
Pretty
minutes.
standard radio play time now needs to be up to or under 4 minutes, give or take a few seconds.
Okay, and of all the things you're working on, including that right now, if you could only showcase one of those right now, which one would it be?
I would say it would be royalty, because it's so important. We know the song, The Greatest Love of All. The first line is, I believe the children are our future. And that royalty is really, as I was mentioning to you, Ron, directed to and for them to promote positive self-images, which will promote positive behavior and positive results. So royalty and the message of royalty is so important and so right now.
Right. And how many minutes is that again?
Royalty also goes just a hair under 4 minutes.
Just under 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Folks, on that note, I'm going to do what I usually do when I have a guest on that I like. Okay. I don't do it for everybody. Yeah, I guess I give it for everybody. I want to give you a copy of one of my books. It's called Fitness Economics for Folks at Home. Available at Amazon.com. It's Fitness
Thank you.
Economics
Thank
for
you, sir.
Healthy Body and Mind. And by the way, Gary doesn't need a book like this, but he's got friends that could use this book. So it's
I can use it as well, my friend. In the words of the late, great Luther Vandross, never too much.
It's never
too much. So
Definitely,
thank you, my brother.
definitely. You're welcome.
I appreciate
Definitely.
it.
And folks at home, I want to just thank you for tuning in to Motivation. And on that note, since Gary Hines says that song royalty is something that you should listen to, we're going to close the show down, and we're going to be listening to the rest of your music, if we can do that.
Thank you, my
Okay.
brother. We appreciate you,
Right.
man.
So we're going to see you next time on Motivation. I'm Ron Henderson, the Fitness King, again with my guest, Gary Hines. We'll see you next time, and all that you do, stay fit and stay motivated.
Priceless and precious, important and